All right, let's dive right into this explainer and channel our inner detective, because today we're solving a mystery that has honestly stumped home cooks everywhere.
Picture this. You're right in the middle of making dinner. The prep is totally done, and out of nowhere, your induction cooktop just gives up. It just sits there, beeping at you instead of actually boiling your water. Talk about frustrating, right? It's the ultimate kitchen crime scene. But here's the thing. It's not just being stubborn. It's actually trying to tell you exactly what's wrong. And by the time we wrap up today, you're going to know exactly how to translate those little cries for help.
So, here is our exact plan of attack for today. We're going to start by unlocking the induction mystery, then run through some first checks and easy fixes. After that, we'll decode those error messages, take a look inside the power board, cover the tools for safe repair, and wrap it all up with a real-world case study climax. All right, part 1, unlocking the induction mystery.
Now, before we can actually catch the culprit, we've got to understand the machine we're dealing with. And you guys know this isn't your standard gas or electric stove. Instead of the surface getting hot and transferring that heat to your pot, induction uses a high-frequency alternating current to create an electromagnetic field. This field actually induces heat-generating eddy currents directly inside your ferromagnetic pan. It's literally turning the pot itself into the heating element. That's exactly why the glass top stays relatively cool while the water inside reaches a rolling boil in no time.
Moving on to part 2, first checks and easy fixes. The most common appliance failures are honestly just simple user errors or safety triggers. So let's roll out the easy stuff first before we go tearing the whole machine apart. Step 1, just make sure the stove actually has power. Check the fuse box or give it a hard reset at the mains. Sometimes a quick power cycle is all it takes to clear a temporary glitch. Step 2, check that child lock. If it's on, your control panel is going to be completely unresponsive. Usually, you just got to hold the lock button for 3 to 5 seconds to disable it. And step 3, the good old magnet test. Induction absolutely requires magnetic cookware. If a magnet doesn't stick firmly to the bottom of that pan, the stove simply won't recognize it, and it's not going to turn on, period. Next up, part 3, decoding the error messages. Okay, so if the easy fixes didn't pan out, it's time to translate that secret language your appliance is using. For example, if you're seeing an F5 or an E2, the machine is literally warning you, hey, I'm too hot, and it needs better ventilation. Maybe you accidentally left a hot pan sitting over the control panel, or the air vents underneath are totally blocked. If it throws an E0, it just can't detect a compatible pan. A DE code usually means it's stuck in demo mode, which happens a lot after a power outage. And codes like U400 or E3, those point straight to electrical supply issues, meaning the voltage coming out of your wall is somehow off. All right, let's get into part 4, inside the power board.
Let's pop the hood and actually look at the electronic brains of this operation. Right in the thick of it, you're going to find the insulated gate bipolar transistor, or the IGBT. Think of the IGBT as a hyperactive traffic cop. Its job is to precisely direct this massive flow of electrical current right into the induction coil. By opening and closing thousands of times every single second, it dials in your exact cooking temperature. It's really a marvel of modern engineering.
Now, this little component features 3 pins: the gate, the collector, and the emitter. And because it's switching such massive amounts of power so unbelievably fast, it generates an immense amount of heat. Seriously, to prevent this thing from just melting itself into a puddle, it is strictly monitored by thermal sensors and physically bolted to a heavy aluminum heatsink. They even use thermal paste to maximize that heat transfer. Next up on the board is the bridge diode rectifier. To keep our traffic analogy going, the bridge diode acts like a super strict one-way street. See, the power coming out of your wall is alternating current, or AC, which means it flows back and forth. But the delicate electronics on the board, they can't handle that. So the bridge diode forces that chaotic AC power into a smooth, usable direct current, or DC flow. Take a close look at the spacing on these pins. If you're ever in there probing this component with a multimeter, you'll notice the DC positive pin is intentionally set further apart from the incoming AC pins. It's such a clever little design feature. It helps repair techs instantly orient themselves without having to constantly stare at a schematic.
Which brings us to part 5, tools and safe repair.
Now, before we even think about attempting our own detective work, we have got to lay down some ground rules. Induction cooktops carry incredibly dangerous high voltage. These safety rules, straight from the PETA repair manual, are absolutely non-negotiable. Always, always respect the electricity. Ensure the appliance is completely disconnected from the mains before you even touch a screwdriver.
Work in a well-lit, ventilated area, wear your insulated gear, and please keep your screws organized. I mean it, just one misplaced screw left inside a high-voltage board can cause a massive, catastrophic short circuit the second you plug it back in. And finally, part 6, the case study climax. To really put all this theory into practice, let's look at a super interesting scenario straight from the FixBond workbench. So a customer brought in a cooktop with a pretty classic complaint. It heats up for a few seconds, completely stops, and then just starts beeping. But here is the kicker. The critical clue in this case wasn't the error code on the screen. The technician noted that the very first thing they observed was silence. There was a complete absence of that familiar, reassuring hum from the internal cooling fan. So our detective gets to work. But instead of just wildly throwing replacement parts at the problem, they need to figure out, is the fan itself dead, or is the main power board failing to send the juice? By testing the fan terminals right on the board with a multimeter, they confirmed a healthy, steady 18 volts of DC power. And that is a huge finding, because right then and there, they expertly ruled out a super expensive mainboard failure. When they looked a little closer, the true culprit was finally revealed. It was simply a snapped lead wire on the fan motor, caused by physical vibration. Basically, without that fan running, the inside of the stove was heating up way too fast. The thermal sensors caught this and immediately triggered an automatic safety shutdown to protect that precious IGBT we talked about earlier. So the error code wasn't actually a malfunction at all. It was the stove working exactly as it was designed to. But you know, truly solving the mystery means doing more than just replacing a broken part. It means fixing the root cause. The tech went ahead and installed a new high RPM fan, but they also noticed an internal subboard that was loose and rattling around. By securing that subboard, they completely eliminated the vibration, ensuring this kind of wire fatigue won't just happen again in a month. And really, that's the difference between a quick, temporary patch and a true, lasting repair. So now that you've seen just how logical, structured, and honestly approachable appliance diagnostics can actually be, I've got a challenge for you. Look at the technology sitting in your kitchen with a whole new sense of curiosity. Next time something starts beeping at you, don't just throw your hands up in frustration. Put on your detective hat. What household appliance are you going to investigate next?